Hello, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. There's a number of subjects I want to talk about over the next few days, and one of them actually, someone stole my glory, Stephen, and to a certain degree in his latest video, but the one from Hello, hello, you lovely people. Well, moving on back to what I was talking about, you know, one of the subjects that many of us talk about here in the Philippines is the the concept of jealousy, tempo, and also gossip. And it's actually the gossip that I want to talk about today because many of us, I think the word is extrovert and introvert. Introvert inferring to me very keeping within oneself. But being an extrovert doesn't necessarily mean you go, burn my bras. It just means that you're maybe very talkative, you communicate a lot with other people, and that gives you enjoyment in your everyday environment. But for many Filipino, there's a sort of a definite connection between gossip and the difference between extrovert and introvert. Many, I believe, are very introvert, and in the sense that they're very shy, they're very secretive, they're very keeping matters to themselves. And it's a contradiction, really, because what happens also is that human beings love to gossip. They like to tell them people what they're doing, maybe talk about or at least listen to the gossip. But when you listen to the gossip, you can't help but add your tuppence worth, so to speak. And for many Filipinos, that is sort of everyday occurrence. But when you, as a foreigner, talk to what would be your newfound friends, your neighbours, that stepped over the mark for them. And then when I say for them, for your partner, because they'll say, you button up your mouth, don't talk to people. It's a big ask for us as foreigners who don't have friends here, that don't have acquaintances. And when you find somebody who appears on the face of using our own concept of understanding, we find someone friendly, interested in us, and on a daily basis we may see them, or every couple of days we might say hi, and they get into a conversation. And it's inevitable. How are you doing? They'll say. What are you up to? They'll say, or words to that effect. And are we expected to say nothing? Are we somehow supposed to invent what's going on in our lives? Why can't, as long as we're not telling porkies, as long as we're not divulging state secrets, then surely we have the right, or it will be expected that we can have that kind of communication. One thing about having a YouTube channel gives myself and many of us who have them, I believe, an opportunity to let off steam, to talk about issues that may be affecting them, maybe have come across. And in doing so, we receive a response in many cases in the comments. Some of them, of course, are a little bit maybe outrageous. Some are truthful in the way they're put together, but they don't specifically, as a whole, affect my life in the same way that maybe is suggested. But it is important that we realize that many of us come to the Philippines with our perceived excitement of living in a foreign country, falling in love with the country itself, the people, and hopefully finding a partner. And when, of course, we do that, some of us who couldn't possibly have had without 25, 30 years of work and saving a home of our own. We come here with what, if we were in our own country, would be seen as a minor amount of money. I mean, I came here with, I think, I brought with me, around 80,000 US dollars. Now, I didn't arrive with 80,000. I was still waiting for the sale on a property. And that property was held up by a very determined lady. And in the end, after she realized she was spending so much money trying to extract her pound of flesh, she eventually succumbed to the reality that it was costing her more to defend it, and what she was going to end up with was going to be that much less. But in the end, we both ended up with, I suppose, a 60-40, what should have been 50-50, ended up 60-40 in her favor. But then, of course, the law always tends to push the barrow that they're, of course, the victim, when in fact they had nothing when you came, but they walk away with 50%. Well, that's the way the law seems to work in this world, and who am I to say right or wrong in relation to that? But what I'm alluding to is the fact that many of us come with what we have got, and we do build a home of our own. And I say a home of our own, it's a monumental task, but it nevertheless is something of a life achievement. For us, regardless of where we've lived, to be able to stand back and look at a structure and say, Johnny boy, I built that. It doesn't matter about who owns the land, who paid for the bricks. It's all about self-achievement in life. It's on that wish list of things that you could possibly achieve in life. Okay, it's a materialistic way of looking at it, but I've achieved that in my life. I have bought homes, I've sold homes, I've sold hundreds of houses on property speculation over the years, and that self-satisfaction of walking away with a nice little wad of money is also a feeling of achievement. But to build your own home from scratch, dig the turf, mark out the pegs, imagine looking at the architect's drawings and think, wow, that's how it's going to appear here, is a major achievement. And I'm sure that many Filipinos who come either from overseas or send money from overseas to build them their dream home will also have that feeling of self-achievement. So let's not take away that feeling of self-achievement by those that wish to put us down, that, you built it for her, or you'll never get to live in it. She'll kick you out soon. Well, actually, nobody's kicked me out. I still have a home. I still might not get on with the woman, but I still have a home. And I'm, to use the word welcome, meaning in the context of I'm not deprived or restricted to enter the property. And of course, some are. Maybe they're because they're fearful of what do they call it? Reaction to it. That's not the right word I was looking for. Retribution, maybe. But in my case, I could go back there any day. When I say I could, I'm not restricted from going back. I'm always told it's my home, my house. It might be her land, and it always would be anybody's land who is a Filipino that it's built on. But it is my self-achievement. It is an achievement in my lifetime. My family know I built that home. They look at what Uncle Norman, Uncle John, whatever they call me, has achieved in life. Yes, he's achieved it in the Philippines. So, guys, don't be so critical of someone's achievements. Many of you sit there in your armchairs in America, Australia, and saying, "You don't know what you're talking about, mate. You own nothing. You're this. You're a loser." Am I? You know? So you've got lots of money in the bank. Am I a loser because I have less? I don't think so. I think I take to my death the same amount as you do, because whatever we leave behind is what we've left behind. We can't take it anywhere. We can only end up giving it away to somebody else, whether it's by choice to someone you want or by the state taking it from you on your death. So, guys, don't be so critical of others' achievements in life. And if they are achieved here in the Philippines, I congratulate every one of you for doing that. That's my thought for the day, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. Bye now.